Good evening and welcome to the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby Kinzer.
And I'm Thomas Doty.
And we are the FITT Show, helping our folks get their finances in shape. Financial information for today, but not only today, but also for tomorrow. Doty, so glad to see you another day. As you can see, I'm in sunny London, England. Cold, blimey, mate. And I get around like that. Dope, had a great session last week, dispelling investment myths. But this week, we got an interesting show. A lot of people might, I don't know, they might be up in arms with some of our takes on this week's show. But this week's show, though, is going to be financial tips that you won't learn at school. What do you think about that?
It's pretty interesting. It'll ruffle some feathers, but a whole bunch of ways to learn things, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight.
And that's what we're about. We all about the ways to learn, my man. So, Dope, let's get started with our favorite subject at the top of the hour. And this is a good time to talk about it now, the stock market.
Yeah, and it's only human nature. When the market's good, it seems like I'm in a better mood. And we always preach this is about the long play. So it really shouldn't be that way, but I'm only human. When Microsoft is up, I'm happy as can be. And in the last couple of days, Microsoft's been up huge because it was down a little bit earlier. But let's talk about it. You have the chart, Bob?
It should be up. It's not up.
No, there you go. And as you can see, the stock market, the Dow's up in the past week, 400 points. It's a 1.3% increase. And a lot of people were thinking things were going to go to crap when the second quarter would kind of indicate that we're in a recession. But there's a lot of strong signals out there. So the market reacted favorably. The NASDAQ last week is up 153 points or 1.3%. Then you start looking at some of the stocks. Microsoft's up 13 points in the last week, 4.9%. Tesla's up 20 points, 2.4%. And Apple and Pfizer, Apple's up a couple of points, Pfizer's flat. But all in all, the market has kind of stabilized a little bit. We're hoping we hit bottom, last couple of weeks, and things will start going positive. But there's no way to know. And as we always say, it's about the long play. You really shouldn't get excited when you have a good day or down when there's a bad day, because this is for the long run. This is for the long play. So, Bob, how are your cryptocurrencies doing?
Well, cryptocurrencies, interesting that you may ask. Cryptocurrency is actually doing well, though, believe it or not. It's, excuse me. Got a little tweak there in my throat there. Cryptocurrency actually has been doing very well, though. As we always look at it, the market cap of the total market, and now, though, it's up to approximately 18,000 cryptocurrencies. Well, remember, it's good to focus on just the top 10. But the market cap is up. It's up to $1.1 trillion. And, the last couple of weeks, it was way below $1 trillion, but now it's up over $1 trillion again. And Bitcoin, it makes up 456 billion of that, so almost half of the cryptocurrency market. The Bitcoin last week was at $23,193, though. Today, as of 7 p.m., it was up, believe it or not much, but up $23,796. That's a % increase, and that's about, this week it was about a $2,000 per coin increase, and now on top of that, this week is about a $955 per Bitcoin increase. Bitcoin is still the number one coin. Shiba Inu, that coin that a lot of people have, is struggling out there, though. They're struggling. Last week, the market cap was at about 7.1 billion. It's down again to 0.9 billion. So people are in and out. But that Dogecoin, which is backed by Elon Musk and Mark Cuban, that's been holding for some reason, and it actually moved up from the number 10 spot, from the number 11 spot to the number 10 spot. And it was market cap was about 8.5 billion last week. It's up 9.1. So people are jumping back into the cryptocurrency market, though. Just like we said, those whales, which we call those the big investors, institutional investors that took all their profits from when they got in, like in 2017, 2010. It's proven like they get out, and what they do, then they get back in on the when the market is down, and that's what we like to tell people. That's one of the best times to get in the market, where you get some of the best bargains. But it's all about the long play, dope. So cryptocurrency for the past 2 weeks has been doing well. So dope, man. Let's talk a little bit about our subject today: financial tips that you won't learn in school.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, Bob, you and I talk a lot about money and why we're successful, why we did well, and we both know we both know we're blessed. A lot of luck, a lot of things went our way, and some of the things we did, we figured out for ourselves. We didn't have a roadmap. Nobody really told us what to do. Money wasn't 3 points away. Money wasn't discussed much in our house, other than the fact we didn't have much. And so we didn't have a roadmap. We had to learn on our own. And we tried some things that worked. We tried some things that didn't work. And unfortunately, for both of us, a lot more of what we did worked than it didn't work. And it wasn't because we were brilliant or smarter than anybody else. We just made some right choices that happened to turn out right. And some of the things you want to talk about, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure out and to do. And you don't have to go to school to learn these things. And again, we know we were blessed, and we know there was some luck, but we also know we did have some discipline. We did work hard, and we had a lot of breaks, and things worked out. And so some of the things we're going to talk about today, Bob, if you follow these things, you can be successful. And a friend of mine told me a long time ago, you can learn by listening, or you can learn by learning. And you and I learned by learning, and it was hard, and we made some mistakes, but we both did very well. But especially if you're younger, if you follow these things, nobody can guarantee you're going to be successful, but you have a high probability of being successful if you listen to some of the things we talk about tonight. Take them to heart, follow them, and they're not difficult to do. It just takes you deciding you're going to do these things.
And a little bit of non-traditional, and and these are like things. These are tips they don't tell you about. These are things your kids should know. Because though, like you said, we're not the sharpest pencil in the toolbox, but we know a little bit. But it's not like we some Einsteins or geniuses. A lot of times we tried stuff and we lucked up and it worked. And a lot of things we tried that were tried and true, and they worked. But just like the past 10 years before last year, the past 10 years, though, you didn't even have to have no smart financial advisor. You didn't have to have no T. Rowe Price advisor, no Fidelity, no Vanguard, because all the boats, the market was a bull market for 10 years, unheard of, though. And you didn't have to, but a lot of these advisors try to play this game like they were smart and they were telling on the market. No, the market was just rolling. And if you were in a part of it, like we always say, to get the benefit, you got to play the game, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight, though, because these are some interesting tips that I know I share with my daughter, my kids and son. And some of them worked, but some of them didn't. And we want to get started with the first one.
Okay, the first one is reconsider the quote unquote follow your passion advice.
Oh, how many times have you heard that?
Yeah, and our passions tend to be more on the creative side, and those can't always pay the bills. Our strengths are things we can sell. Okay, so if you can combine your hobby with a high-paying, marketable career, then that's all well and good. But that's not very common. Most people can't do that. So you have to build your career around what you're good at. And Bob and I discussed this even in corporate world. If you got to do the basics. Okay, you got to be on time. You got to dress the part. You got to wear the uniform. You have to follow up on what you're going to follow up on. You have to be able to communicate with people, work with people. I always call those layups. You got to, my basketball analogy, you got to be able to make the layups. And then from that, you add in some hard work and some motivation and some drive, and that's how you become successful. But the follow your passion, that it can happen. Not saying it can't happen. It's just not very common.
And though, I mean, we're not down on people that have a passion, but like let's use myself though. My passion was basketball, but I wasn't guaranteed no job or no MBA, and I wasn't foolish to think that I was. But what did I rely on? I relied on my sheepskin. I went on and got my degree, but I used my passion to get my degree. And they say though, skills pay the bills. So, but though, I'm going to talk about another one, man. I learned from successful people. Okay, I learned from successful people, and it's nothing wrong. I'm not trying to say that you can't hang around with people who are not. We're not talking about highfalutin and aristocrats and all of this. But throughout my career, I've worked with many wealthy people, and instead of being jealous of them, dope, I just took notes and looked and saw what they did. I noticed the people that came into the office first. They never got wrapped up in politics, and they often volunteered for more responsibility. And I started doing that. I had a friend that did that. I noticed he did that, and instead, he earned his wealth by investing and controlling his spending because he just didn't come from money. He wasn't like, and that's what another tip though. Most people think that wealthy people, their money is inherited. That is not true. But I learned from watching other people. Though I remember, man, it was like, man, I could just like yesterday. I watched certain guys, man, and it was cool. In the '80s, they were talking about, the guys, were talking about all the brothers, about Michael Jordan, how he rolled and he was killing, he scored 40 points. Then I went down the hall and I was listening to these guys talking about, different stock tips, and they had stock letters that they were purchasing, and nothing against the Chicago Bulls guys, dope, you know what I'm saying? But I started listening to these guys and some of the stocks they invested in, and then their 401k, the thrift savings plan and the 401k, and it worked. So we're not downing people who were not successful, but it's just the fact, if you hang around a hot dog stand, you're going to want a hot dog.
Yeah. Hang with dogs, you're going to get fleas. The next one is cutting out negative people. It's kind of what we're talking about. If you hang out with people who like to drink at bars and spend money, that's what you're going to do. You're going to do what they do. That's what you'll do. I upgraded my life by upgrading my friends, and it wasn't like I was looking for people who had something materially, but I tried to hang around people who added something positive to what I was doing, or who was doing things that I was trying to do. And you spend time with them people and you find out, what makes them work. And a lot of times they have knowledge about something that you don't have knowledge about. And most people in that situation are always willing to share if you're willing to listen. And so I made it a point to find out why they were successful, what kind of things they did work, what kind of things they didn't work. And I tried to build a good relationship with them just to find out, to get more information. And then their habits rubbed off on me. It's like Bob said, the guys who stayed at work late at PPG, volunteering for outside of work activities was well thought of. So I started doing that. And it's just little things like that that get you noticed and get people to see you outside of the work environment and notice that you have skills. But it was only because I started hanging around people who were successful, who were doing things that I wanted to do. Now, so I began making better money decisions, and I never drank, so it wasn't like I had to stop drinking alcohol. I said I never drank. I never drank a lot, but I probably haven't touched alcohol in like 35, 40 years. Well, yeah, about 40 years. But just never had a taste for it. But at work, I worked really hard. I put in a lot of time. I worked. I was there, late hours, asked for raises and promotions. I, took every opportunity I could get. I relocated 9 different times. And that's what the high performers did. And that's what I did. And I did quite well.
Hey, Dope, this is a big one for me because there's so many negative people, and you got to watch out because there's some other negative, and they drain you. They literally, not just mentally, Dope, it's been proven factually that it drains you physically. And like, you can make your decision whether you hang around successful people or not that successful people, but there's no doubt about it. You don't need to be hanging. You need to cut out negative people in your life. And I've done that recently too, though. I had to cut a couple of people out because every time the phone ring, I see the number and I already know that it's going to be something. And it automatically I go into this, like mindset of, oh God, dang, do I got to answer this phone? I got to hear that. I don't know if you experienced that, Dope, but
No, Bob, I agree with you 100%. And I look at myself now like an electric car. And if people don't give me energy, I don't give them any time. I only deal with folks who give me energy. And if you don't give me energy, I got no time for you. And that's just how I am.
And an old lady told me, you be careful who you hang around with, because if it's a bunch of 5 fools standing on the corner, and you just happen to be standing there too, and somebody pull up, guess what? They say, man, look at them, there's a bunch of fools on that corner. Though my next one though is maximize your job. And that's what I did. And actually, we talked about this, though, is what you did too. And I don't think people really maximize the opportunities they have at their job. And one of the big ones everybody know is investing in their employee sponsor plan, like the 401k or 403b, because they matching anywhere from 3 to 6%. And if you do not get the match, you're losing out like 100%, right? So, and it's free money that your employers contributing to your have. Don't you know they did a survey, and there's over somewhere around 60 to 70% of people are not maximizing their matching in their 401k plan at their job. Now, I know everybody can't do it, don't get me wrong, but it's almost like you can't afford not to because you're getting also the tax breaks. And then some companies like the FDIC that I work with had health savings accounts, and these, help employees save on pre-tax money for qualified medical expenses, like deductibles and medications. And the beauty of HSAs, health savings accounts, it acts like a 401k plan later. After you turn 65, the unused money can be withdrawn for any purpose. The other thing, though, is, and this is what I always did, though. This is what I all day did, was my full-time job always offered educational and training opportunities. And I took every one of them, and they paid for my senior finance school, my asset and liability management school, executive management school in Denver for 2 weeks. The FDIC paid for it. My executive leadership program that was traveling around the country for 4 months, they paid for it. And these are things that you need to maximize, that your skills. They can boost your marketable skills, and these are things like computer programming. You don't have to be in computer programming to take a computer programming class, because we all use computers, or accounting class, or time management class. These skills are used to get promotions and raises throughout your career.
Bob, PPG paid for my master's degree. They paid for the courses to get the CPA exam. They paid for me to take a Dale Carnegie course to improve my interpersonal skills.
Whoa.
I took 2 or 3 writing courses, because as you move up the chain or up the ladder in the corporate world, your writing skills become more important. And my writing was okay, but I saw it needed to be excellent. So I went back and took some writing courses. I took any leadership course they offer, any supervisory course. I took advantage of every opportunity PPG had. And that's what you mean by maximizing your job, is taking advantage of the benefits they offer to improve yourself. And I took full advantage of that and parlayed that. Because I had a master's and a CPA, I was able to get a job teaching school and make more money. And I'm sure it helped me. All the schooling helped my professional career and helped me move up in the organization. But moving on to the next one.
About this stuff either, though. They don't tell you go take this training. Or maybe people that might be looking out for it. For most of the times, these are stuff they don't tell you at your job. They don't tell you to go and maximize the training. FDIC, we had a personal development account that was like, I think, $2,500 a year, and it rolled over. Man, almost 80% of people didn't even use the money, though.
You got to be about improving yourself. You got to be about getting better every day in everything you do. And most corporations offer the tools that can allow you to do that. And even if they don't pay for it, they usually pay a good percentage of it. I know it's not like it used to be where the companies pay for all of your educational costs, but they still pay for a lot, and you ought to take advantage of them.
You know what Melody told me today?
What's that?
Hey, Dad, my skills pay the bills. That's where I got it from.
That's kids say that. The next one, and this one's a little tough for me. We talked about this today. It's talking about don't be afraid to change jobs. I never changed jobs in my whole career. But I'm watching my son, my youngest son, who's, I think he's on his 5th job in like 6 years, 7 years. And each job he got pretty healthy raise and learned some new skills. He's adding to his toolkit. And it used to be, in my day, you were held to company because a lot of times your company match, like they had a waiting period on it. Well, they don't have that anymore. And I also had a pension that I was accumulating while I was working, and most companies don't have that anymore. So there's really no need or no strong reason for you to stay with a company if they're not paying you what you feel you are worth. And so you need to keep, again, that's another reason to keep yourself marketable and gather all the skills you can, both at your job and those ancillary skills like supervisory leadership and writing and things of that sort. But you can do that by switching companies, and my son's adding a lot of stuff to his toolkit. He's learning different things, and you just got to be careful because you can't do it too much where it becomes you don't learn anything at the job. But a lot of times if you go in and dig in, you can learn and add to your toolbox and continually increase your salary. And it's kind of like in my career, and that's one of the things I look back, I could have done differently. It's like when you go to school at night and get your master's. To the company you work for, you're still the same dude, right? You just have a degree. Unless you really improve your skills, you won't reap the benefits of that degree. But if you go to another company, they don't know your warts. Okay, they don't know the bad things about you. They just see what's on your resume, and usually that's only positive things. So that's another reason why switching jobs in today's market can be positive, is because you can start over, and they're paying you for the positive things, as opposed to your current company understanding some of the negative things or warts that you may have.
Hey, Doug, because that's exactly what I did when I started playing professional basketball. I came out and got a job with this insurance company. And then they trained and paid for all my licenses, my stockbroker's license, Series 763, insurance licenses, mortgage broker's license, man. And I left from as soon as I got my Series 7, they paid for. I left that mug after 1 year, and I went to the brokerage firm called the Calvary Group and became a stockbroker with doing institutional sales. Did that for a year, and that plastic was killing me to my ear. But I got that experience and went straight to the Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation, and then went to the FDIC. So yes, Doe, it definitely worked. Hey, Doe, I got a comment in the box here from my main man, James Goose Nelson. Now, this young boy, I seen, man, when he started at the FDIC, man, he was eager. And James, Doe, the basic that you talked about, now everybody else, they FDIC reduced the dress code, but James kept wearing a suit and tie, man. James kept wearing a suit and tie, man, and he stayed focused, man, stayed positive, and he said, Bob, I remember you told me years ago when I joined the AC that I need to maximize my 401k plan at, at least what the agency match. And wow, it's good to hear that the young folks be listening. But James is an entrepreneur, man. He's in the real estate, still works at FDIC. Great guy. And James, kudos to you and hello to the family, man. Dude, I want to talk about real quick about being on the same page. Now, this is no, is that the next one?
No. The next one is utilize automation.
The next one is utilize automation, excuse me. And this is a big one, especially for the baby boomers, though. The millennials get it, and the Generation Zs and Xs, they get it. But our baby boomers are struggling with automation because they don't trust it because of the fraud is so big now. But it's almost to resist is futile. And believe it or not, sometimes it's safer than walking around with a check and cash in your pocket. So I use automated payroll deductions for my 401k plan. Use it for your Roth. And it's great to use, automated bank transfers so you can contribute your money to a brokerage account, which can help you save money and you can invest in the market, a lot more easily and quickly when you actually want to get in on the market. Automation is great, man. I also enroll, in auto bill pays, and you can do that. You can do it for utilities, the electric bill, gas, water, even credit cards, especially if you're a person who don't physically pay your bills on time. Automate it. That way you won't miss a single payment. You avoid late fees, interest payments, and other penalties. Me and Doe, we never, I can actually say that because not too many times you can say never. We never pay interest because we pay our bills on time and a lot of things are automated. So it helps us be way more efficient and you can track things better. You can have a better system of record that you can go to. My credit card, though, every year they send me, they categorize everything that I paid for. It make it easy for my taxes, automated.
Yeah, that means paying yourself first. That's why you do your payroll like that.
Amen.
Okay, Bob, the next one is don't focus on the Joneses, and I'd add to that, focus on you, right? Just because the neighbors or your friends buy a new boat, new car, new house, shouldn't affect you at all. What somebody, I used to tell my kids that when they were little, what somebody else has doesn't change your life, doesn't affect your life. And as adults, you see it happening. People see something that somebody else has and they want to get it. And a lot of times that breaks people's plans, goals, all kinds of stuff because they're not ready to make that purchase. They're doing it based on somebody else. And you have no idea how that person is doing what they're doing. Maybe their parents gave them money. Maybe they inherited some money. Maybe they won the lotto. But what they have should not affect what you do, okay? And you can't worry about what other people are doing and use that to decide what you do. And that's one thing I can say I've done pretty well in not letting what other people's spending habits affect what I do. I've always been my own plans, figuring out what I could do, And I remember when I used to dream about having a real nice car, but I didn't always have a nice car. I remember having a Volkswagen Rabbit. I had a Volkswagen Scirocco. I had a minivan. I had those kind of cars. But that was when I was working toward my goal of getting where I could buy whatever kind of car I want, which is where I am now. And I didn't get swayed by what other people had. And if you focus on yourself, come up with your own plan and your own goals, and just be laser focused on you, you won't worry about what other people have or what other people are doing.
Dude, I had a soccer mom's van, but really was a dance girl's van.
Hey, Bob, excuse me, but you say that, and I still remember the first time I'm in a minivan and I'm driving, and I was listening to one of my favorite songs on the radio, and I'm grooving to the song, and I pull up at a stoplight, and there's a store window, and I saw myself in the minivan. And you want to talk about feeling just so uncool? I just said, you're a soccer dad. That's what you are.
Hey, dope. Now this next one, we know, but this is one of those they don't really tell you about. These are one of the definitely unconventional things they don't tell you, and some of us do it. But it's being on the same page, though. Now, too often, your spouses, your significant other, your kids, even your friends, though, have different ideas regarding, budgeting, goals, and dreams. And if left unchecked, these differences can cause arguments and other problems in your relationship, that keep you from achieving your goals. And it's healthy. It's healthy to have open communications and I find and traditionally, a lot of people don't do that because the men were the breadwinners and they made all the household decisions. But that's not like that now. And it's so important. And even if it is, still you should keep, your spouse, your kids, everybody, open communication with your partner is a healthy relationship. So you can align your goals, what makes you happy, just what makes you all happy. And this one is a big one though. Being on the same page, man. Being, as they say, equally yoked. And that just comes from open communication, man. You can't look, dude, I knew a guy in his 60s bought a Harley Davidson and was hiding it in his friend's garage because he didn't want to let his wife know that he bought a motorcycle. I'm like, come on, man, for real? So talking about your future goals every day, with your wife or with your children, and being on the same page, is so important. It helps you be happier. It helps you give a future look and let you know what your future looks like and what they can be anticipating. And the steps that you take now can make it happen.
And Bob, you mentioned your kids. It's such a good lesson for the kids. And oftentimes they may not fully understand and they may still get their jaws tight, but you can lay the foundation for them to have good financial habits by discussing it with them and making sure they're on the same page, because there's going to be things they want to buy, and they're a little more affected by keeping up with the Joneses than you might be. And if you have a budget and you can explain it, and they may not like it, but eventually they'll understand that there's certain things they can have, there's certain things that they can't have, but they should be included in the conversations too. And it's funny, Bob. My daughter has been giving me Lululemon gift cards for Father's Day, birthdays, stuff like that. And I just thank God my kids weren't into Lululemon coming up, because
they're expensive.
I would have been broke. But anyway, now this one's not a financial issue, but I feel very adamant about this one, and very strong about this one. And your health should be your number one priority. And if you think about being successful, your health and your body is the engine that's going to allow you to do that. And life isn't just about money. If health's number one, you're going to be happier. You're going to be able to do more and be more productive. It's going to reduce the possibility of you having high blood pressure and other medical things. Now, true, medical things may happen, but you definitely reduce the likelihood of them happening if you're taking care of yourself. And it's we weren't. I didn't grow up in a health conscious family, but my mother always cooked a lot of vegetables, boiled a lot of things. But I mean, we like everybody else. We ate the fried chicken, the fried fish, the
Chitlins.
Crisco, and the whole. I never ate chitlins.
Me either.
Cooked.
But we had them.
Cooked in the grease and everything. But it's like Maya Angelou says: when you know better, do better. And now I try to eat a lot healthier, and I stress to my kids that your body does not forget what you do to it. Okay, and if you're young and misusing your body, it's going to come back and haunt you, whether it's high blood pressure, whether it's some kind of heart issue, or some other physical problem. So, as a young person or even as an old person, you got to make health a number one priority. Everything falls in place if you're healthy, as far as being able to accomplish what you want to do and do what you need to do. And I didn't know as much about it now as my kids do. And I stress it to them all the time because I didn't always do that. And I have to deal with high blood pressure, even if it's under control, because I do take much better care of myself now. But if you start when you're younger, you won't have to worry about that. And now you know better. And so that's for everybody. I don't care how old you are. Your health should be your number one priority.
That's a major one, though. That's a major one. I'm talking about what good is being financially secure, and you can't even enjoy it. And I see so many of our friends now coming up with ailments, and my brother Steve always say, "Man, you get old, things just jump on you." But like you said, though, if you really search down into it, you can see that those were things that you were doing that led up to it. So we can start today. Health is important. Though we talk a lot about this next one, but it's definitely one that we should continue to harp on. And it's Dodge credit card debt. Now, Americans are saddled with over $840 billion worth of credit card debt. The interest rates are going up because the Federal Reserve just increased rates. So interest rates are going to go up on credit cards, and that's going to be making credit card debt even tougher. And to be honest, we don't talk about this all the time. They don't say this, but we teach this. Credit card debt is the worst type of debt you can have, especially if you're not paying it off and you're paying late fees. It's the worst debt out there. And
it's a yoke. It's a yoke, Bob. It's a yoke around your neck.
Big time. Big time. It's a big albatross hanging, anvil hanging around your neck. And there's no other way to put it, though. And they don't say this enough, because you definitely don't learn this in school. Because when you go to college, they offer all these young people credit cards, but they're not telling them about how to manage it and how this debt can be detrimental to your health, though. And like I said, me and Doe has never paid in credit card, not a single dollar in credit card interest. And what it's taught me is that, debt is unacceptable, even for a month. Credit cards make it too easy for you to spend money that you don't have. It's a habit that can quickly get out of control. So, don't use credit cards as a convenience, but they are great. Now, let's get this straight. They're great for fraud protection, and they have implied warranties that you don't get by paying straight cash or with your debit card. So those are great, because there are many cards that offer customers, that kind of advantage. So don't get me wrong, it's great, but it's how you use it. But you don't want credit card debt, And if you pay off the balance every month, this could be the reason why you can retire early.
And Bob, I want to make sure people are clear on this. Okay, yeah, now I have money to pay off my credit cards and buy anything I want. But when I was first starting out, I didn't go into credit card debt. I did without a lot of things. I can think back to my first apartment, and you had to pay a deposit to get a telephone. Yeah, that's how old I am. And I didn't get a phone. I didn't have the money to do it. I wasn't going to borrow money to do it. And so a lot of it is being able to do without and pass up some things that you may want. But if you take the approach that credit card debt is the devil in disguise, you'll be okay and do without things that if you can't afford to pay for it, then you can't afford it. Not that, not I have a credit card so I can buy it, but if you don't have the cash to pay for it, you can't afford it. It's that simple. And the next one is don't pass up opportunities. Again, this fits right up my way because I told you guys I relocated 9 different times with PPG and took a lot of other jobs where I didn't have to move. And some of them were lateral, most of them were promotions, but it was to get more experience, to broaden my horizon, to add things to my toolbox, to learn different businesses, to learn different regions. And that in an organization, that's how you move up, by relocating. I don't know if it's still as prevalent now as it was when I was coming through, but it's a broad statement. Don't pass up opportunities. Try to broaden your horizons and learn as much as you can.
Dope. That's one of the things that I myself, um, I just always took on the special projects. A lot of people would shun away from them. They'd ask for volunteers, and I would take on the special projects. And what happened was I ended up gaining mentors. I ended up gaining sponsors because of the way they liked my initiative and my work ethic. So don't pass up those opportunities, you all. Don't. The next one you sort of hit on, but I'm going to hit this one again. Avoid the bar. Now, in my early career, right, though, the FDIC, we travel around the country. We got overtime, we got good pay, and we got a per diem. And I would go out to the bars with my fellow females, and because we had a per diem, say in Dallas, it was $70 a day, and they would drink and eat up the whole $70, and then we would all pitch in. But I wasn't drinking. I didn't never really even drink. But I'm splitting the bill, and I'm noticing that, wait a minute. I'm spending all this money and thinking I got it like that. So I stopped hanging out with them. I stopped going to the bars and going to dinners with them. And some of them thought I was being snooty. Some of them I just made an excuse. And I ended up saving so much money because I wasn't, going out there, you know, just, spending my money freely and spending it at the bar. And I wasn't even drinking, but we would split the bill. And that was the thing. But I had to learn. I was young, feeling, that I was on top of the world because we had a Diners Club, with unlimited credit on it by the FDIC. But for a lot of people to drink, though, alcohol can be very expensive. And it's expensive lattes spending in the check. It also, can create habits and reduce the quality of your spending. So just be conscious, y'all. We're not against drinking, but sometimes we get caught up in these habits of going to the bar. And I know a lot of people have these bars in their house and they end up, because the times are tough and end up drinking a little bit more beverage than they should. Just be aware, y'all, and try to cut back.
Yes, it's funny, Bob. I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, I grew up around a lot of alcoholics, and that presented a picture to me that's not what I ever want to do. After seeing some of the things people do under the guise of being drunk. And it kind of turned me against alcohol. Plus, I never really liked the taste. I mean, I didn't ever like the taste. And so I always considered myself lucky that that's a lot of money I didn't blow drinking.
I know a guy that cut back on drinking and he lost like 50, 60 pounds because that's another one to add up some pounds and it can destroy your health.
I hear you. I hear you. And the last one we have for you is don't listen to the haters. And that's an important part of doing anything significant. You're going to get hate. You're going to get lots of it. People are going to criticize what you're doing. They're going to wonder why you're not hanging out. They're going to wonder why you driving an old car instead of a new car, why you not buying a bigger house, not buying bigger this, bigger that. And again, you have to stick to your goals and your plans and let the haters be. Don't listen to them. Stick to your goals.
Let them be haters.
Listen to people. Yep. Listen to people who are doing what you're trying to do, and stick to what you're trying to do. That's the best advice you can get. It. Do you under your own plans and accomplish your own goals at your pace, not somebody else.
There's a lot of haters out there too, Dope.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this is the part of the show I like to give some shout outs to the folks that have joined us. And right now we got a comment from my man, Jay Drury. The main man, how you doing, Jay? So glad you're tuning in. Jay said, there is no wealth without health. I love that. That's a good one.
That's for sure.
Like to say hello to one of our mainstays on the show, Garnett Nickers. How you doing,
Hey, Garnett.
My little brother, Carl Chapman, and another one of our, favorite listeners, Joanne Skinner. And I gave shout out to James. Glad you joined us, James. And hello, Now. What's up, Now? And talking about one of our steady viewers. Thank you, Now, as always. My sister Nolia's out there, and my sister Linda's out there, and my sister Gloria's out there. They have been coming. Man, y'all make me so proud. You make your little brother feel good, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And that's it for the shout outs. Like, thank everybody for shouting out. So let's go to the summaries and the takeaways. But yeah, before we go there, let's go here. And you can do this one.
This is this one. I sent this to my kids. This is a quote attributed to Denzel. I don't know if he really said it. It just hit me really, really hard. If you hang around 5 confident people, you will be the 6th. If you hang around 5 intelligent people, you will be the 6th. If you hang around 5 millionaires, you will be the 6th. If you hang around 5 idiots, you will be the 6th. Be smart.
I love that.
That I do too. That hit me so hard. I said, Bob, that ties in totally to what we're talking about tonight.
Be careful who is your company. So, one of the first takeaways I want to talk about is there's more than one way to learn. And that's what we hope you learn tonight. There's so many different ways. There's no one way better than another. A lot of things is just trial and error, and one thing I've learned is, you can't never stop learning, because they say what do you do once you learn everything you learn? You then go out and show other people and help them to learn. So you never stop learning. And there's more than one way to learn, you all, and I hope that y'all pick that up tonight. So I must have lost. Okay, got you back in there, Dope.
Cool. Yeah, I got disconnected.
Can you see?
Do this. Yeah. Let's do the summaries and takeaways.
Yes, I just did the first one.
Okay, the second one is again, focus on you. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about the Joneses. Don't worry about the haters. Come up with your own plan. Stick to it. and do you. Focus on yourself and what you're trying to do.
Next, make sure everybody understands the plan. That's what we're talking about, being on the same page. And that's not just your spouse, your partner, your significant other, but that's also with your kids, even your friends, because it helps them understand that they can do some things they may learn from you. But especially in the household, make sure everybody understands the plan, because it'll make their future so much brighter and so much smoother to achieve your financial goals.
And can't overstate this enough. Prioritize your health. It's going to allow you to be more successful, to be everything you want to do, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. The longer you live, a healthier life. It's a lot more fun being healthy with money than having money and being sick.
That's for sure, dope. So that's our show for today. Financial tips that you just won't learn in school. We hope y'all picked up some tips. We thank you all for joining us, especially people across the pond in England and Scotland. Thank you for tuning in. And Joanne Skinner says, as always, great information. Thanks you, gents. Oh, thank you. And show the Garnett. She said, thanks you, gents, for another great show. Thank you, Dope. Once again, man, big brother, you are awesome, man. And we are a team. And we are here every Thursday at 8 p.m. with the FITT Show. Financial information for today and tomorrow. Make sure you go out there and share this with your friends. And it's never too late for the disclaimer, Dope, just in case somebody want to catch it. It's called CYA. Never too late for that. But stay tuned, you all. We got another interesting subject next week, and we look forward to teaching you more about finances and how to manage your personal